Okay, everybody. I'm going to go over real quick. First of all, hey, this is Mikey, OCD Hi-Fi Guy, and I'm going to go over my rig real quick to show you a certain type of rig. This is a rig that I've worked on for a long time, put in many hours of tuning to get this absolutely where I consider it to be, quote unquote, as near to perfect as possible. So it takes modification and things like that. When a speaker like this doesn't do what I want it to do, it gets modified. We add and turn it into a three-way with the help of Big John, who's the woodworker extraordinaire. We put a Magnepan tweeter onto an analysis speaker, which is a two-way. It's a two-way panel, magnetostatic, or planar magnetic, my bad. There's different between electrostatic and planar magnetic. I like planar magnetic because you don't have to plug these in. Electrostats need AC power that you plug your speakers into the wall. I just don't like AC power in my speakers. For whatever reason, it just doesn't seem right. These are 7 foot tall, okay, 200-pound panels without this tweeter. So it's been made into a three-way, woofer, mid, and tweeter, okay? And then, as you can see on the back, I will step around here. On the back, we've got up here is a super tweeter. That's a Townsend super tweeter right there, pointing straight up into the ceiling. Okay, silver foil speaker cables. This is pure 49.7 silver, polished and made into speaker cables. You can see same. That goes for the tweeter. These are 2-inch wide now, speaker cables that go into the AGD Vivace, which runs that tweeter with 100 watts. What we have over here are copper foils for the mid and for the woofer, but I could use silver there. I just end up selling them, and so I put in copper, but it doesn't matter. The copper is good for the mids and the lows, and they go to this Jeff Rowland. This amp is 320 watts by 2 channels, 8 ohms at 8 ohms. So this is for the mid-range, this is for the woofer, okay? 320 on each, 320 on this, 320 on that, okay? And then these are all the cables. They're all foils, everything except for these 2 XLRs that go. This XLR, this black one, is foil. These 2 are silver-plated copper, Teflon insulation. You can see here I have halographs. These are, what's their called? Man, what's the name of the company? Damn, they make those. I'll tell you when I get to the other side, because they make these stones. Shakti stones. Okay, and this is Shakti halograph. These help focus the vocal image. They look crazy. They're 2 different types of woods with different densities. Who knows how the hell they work? It must have taken a while to figure that out, and I have no. I don't know. I don't know how you figure out something like that, but nonetheless, it works. Here are, these are tube traps, okay, ASC tube traps. I like ASC Corporation, Acoustic Sciences Corporation, and very, very knowledgeable staff, knowledgeable founder, and these are patented designs. They're the real deal. They're not just a box with insulation in them. They have a patent. This is, as you can see, there's half of this actually. Half of it is absorber. The other half is a diffuser. So you can rotate that depending on how you want to focus your sonic. Okay, so if we step over here, we go down to, this is the 4th amp, our channel for one side, because this is called active quad amp. I have 4 amps per channel. That means 4 amps for the left, 4 amps for the right. Amp channels, okay, so 1, 2 in this stereo amp, 3, and then 4, this plate amp. This is by Rhythmic Audio. This is a subwoofer amplifier. You've got a bunch of adjustments on there, so you can really dial these things in and get them totally just matched into the rig. Very nice. Then here is a 312. There's 3 12-inch subs here with anti-reflective acoustic foam that's around each cubby, if you will. I had this, this is a Danny Ritchie design. I had this made by my local guy who makes my cabinets for me, who does a really phenomenal job. You can see it's got like a road. This is like a PA finish on it, right? Very tough. It's not going to chip. It covers everything. It's a killer build. So therefore I can sell these turnkey, so people don't have to deal with it and on their own. Let's see, I won't go behind because that'll just be confusing. But over here, we've got the Playback Designs DAC. You've heard about this enough, a lot lately. It's an MPD-8. It's a beautiful DAC, the most musical DAC with the best imaging that I have found. And I love it. Underneath the DAC, you come out of the DAC. Well, we can start over here, I guess, if we want to start at the front end. Here is the computer that I made. Okay, this is just a mini ATX board that I used, and I put in at the back here. What's important is that's a JCAT USB card. That thing is phenomenal. That makes all the difference in the world. You can have a computer with an output, but it doesn't mean anything unless you have a really good USB output card, okay? So that's crucial to having good hi-fi. You can make your own. Just use a killer hi-fi card like that, output card, and you're good. Now that goes out of USB, out of the computer, which is the server, to this streamer. This is from Playback Designs. What this does is this takes the USB signal and converts it to glass fiber. AT&T glass ST digital. This is broadcast level stuff. Okay, none of the Playback Designs does any upsampling. Okay, until you get over to the main unit. This is just pass through, and it converts it to glass fiber and reclocks and all that kind of stuff. But it just passes it through. But it does give it a reclock and a cleanup. And then you come into the back here using, you can see where that orange cable goes in. That's an ST digital. So we go in with glass fiber into the DAC. That means after you condition the signal right here, there's no way that any noise can get onto that line on its way to the DAC. That's crucial. Other units, they take a fiber up to the box, and then out of the box comes wire up to your DAC, which is silly in my opinion. That defeats the purpose of using fiber all the way over, because you clean the signal and then you put it on wire where it can get dirty again. Boo hiss. I think that's a bad design. This is the right design, where you get USB straight to the box, then you come out of the box glass and you go into the DAC glass, okay? Very few people do that, okay? Playback does because they understand it, okay? At the bottom here, I have outboard power supplies. These are linear. This is a Keysys. This powers the computer here, and it powers the Playback Designs. This is a JCAT power supply that is dedicated for that USB card, okay? We don't want to use the power off the motherboard. Very noisy power. We want to always go with outboard power to anything to power your computer. It's just much quieter than the stuff that it comes with. There's a fiddleizer switch, okay? This is going to clean up the Ethernet before it hits the computer. And then it goes off to the playback, comes out of the playback, goes to the DAC, comes in here for conversion. It comes out the back, analog, and comes down to this specially made analog four-way crossover, the left and a right. This is something I had a commission to build. It was my concept, and he knew how to do it. I told him I wanted a four-way, completely discrete crossover. That means there's no op amps in here whatsoever. You can see all the transistors down on the board. You can see I use film and foil, mini caps, military spec resistors. It's no joke. WEMA caps over here on the end, and it's all balanced. So this is a completely differential. That means it's 100% balanced, front to back circuit, four-way, discrete crossover, okay? So there's two for every knob, in other words. So there's two boards for every knob instead of one, because it's balanced. One in each phase, okay? So it comes out of here for the low mid, the high mid, and the high. Those are the amp channels, the 4 amp channels. This one is for the plate amp. This one is for half the Roland. This is for the other half the Roland. This is for the AGD, okay? That's how it comes out. So the result is a rig that's been hand-tuned for this room and for my personal taste, which is to sound live. I don't like false dynamics that beat you up. I don't want a system that is just an assault of my senses. I want something that you can keep turning up and it keeps sounding better the higher you turn it. What I have here, in case you're wondering, is a high-end Novum. It's called, can't remember the model number. Oh, that's right there. It's called a PMR Mark II. Okay, what this basically is it's like it's a brass pasta bowl. It's like a brass, it's almost like a cymbal, but it would be a super thick cymbal. because this thing is cast bronze. And what that does is that reinforces vocal harmonics by vibrating. It takes up some of the vibration in the room, and it cleans up the certain part of the frequency range that is vocal, that really gives a natural focus to the vocal, and it supports the harmonics within the vocal. As you can see, my racks are very functional. These are not just regular racks. This is a Star Sound rack, and this is made as a mechanical vibration sink. So these brass cones pull the vibration out of the piece of equipment. It goes into these legs, down the legs, into the bottom, and into spikes into those sinks, where it sinks into the bottom. It's much different than putting a spring or a rubber piece underneath, which keeps the vibration inside your equipment, and it's much slower at turning it to heat. It's just a different sonic. It'll make it sound fatter and flabbier. This makes it sound cleaner with metal underneath. And brass is what you want. Steel or aluminum does not have the same properties of resonance that brass does, or bronze. So that is my rig. Why don't we go and listen to it real quick for a second, and we can see the different types of music it can play. So hold on.